Our law, though, is heavily dictated on the Bible, right? The Ten Commandments, thou shalt not steal, kill, murder, covet. It wasn't dictated on the Sharia law. And in fact, most Muslim countries, man, you can Google this. Don't take anything of what I'm saying. Google all this. The majority of Muslim countries with Sharia law are miserable. They hate it. They're the most unhappy countries in the world. And that's why millions of them, they flee, bro. They're refugees and they come here for a better life. And I just find, as a Christian, I find it very hypocritical and almost dangerous that Muslims will come to our countries but then say, no, Sharia law is better. You need to, Islam is the way. How am I supposed to believe that if you fled from your country due to our Judeo-Christian values? You born again? You on this list? Do you know Jesus? Okay, awesome. Are you born again? What do you think about this, man? Because I was everything on this, but this is the only thing that's promoted in these end days. So if you have any questions, let me clarify. Let me try to help you out.
Okay.
I can turn this off too. Okay. Well, what question you have?
Well, I don't know exactly what's going on here.
Okay. Are you a Christian? Are you a Muslim? Are you an atheist? What would you consider yourself?
Muslim.
Okay, you're Muslim. We just talked to a Muslim, yeah.
Yeah. So, what does it mean by you must be born again?
Sure, man. So I don't believe personally that Islam will save you. Jesus says in John 3:3, unless we're born again of the Spirit, we will not see the kingdom of God.
Turn that off. Sorry, it's like I'm hearing you.
Oh, sorry, bro. Yeah, man. So the Bible says that we have to become born again, and being born again is accepting Christ into your heart. But the only problem with Islam, man, is that Islam says that Jesus was not God. So Islam agrees. I study Islam a lot. It agrees with everything in Christianity except what? That Jesus Christ was God, he died, it was made to seem like it was somebody else, and that he didn't resurrect. But the problem, man, is that's the only thing we need from the Christian perspective to be saved. In Islam, it's a good versus bad deeds religion, right? As long as, you pray, you do the 5 pillars, God, he's most merciful, he'll accept you. But our God, the biblical God, which came 600 years prior, says none of us are good enough. You, me. This is why, bro, even in Matthew 5:28, Jesus says, if you look at a man or a woman with lust, you've committed adultery. God's standard is perfection. There's no way I can work my way to that because the Bible says that we've all fallen short. If I break one law, I'm guilty of them all. So if we become born again, we accept Christ into our heart, he then cleanses us. Now we're justified. So on the day of judgment, you're not going to be perfect, neither will I. We're human. But on the day of judgment, when you die, God will see, oh, Christ has covered you. He's good. But if we don't accept Christ, whether it's because we're atheist, or Hindu, or a Muslim, I don't believe we'll go to heaven. Go ahead.
Right.
And there's no beef, too. I'm sure to answer questions.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course,
okay, good. Some people get hostile, right? We're not here to...
I know, man.
We're not...
My religion, I'm not going to leave this being Christian, right?
Well, you don't know. We don't know.
You have your beliefs.
But you try to change my beliefs, right? And we'll...
I accept Jesus. Okay, we call Jesus
Isa, yeah.
right?
I'm just going to put this on here.
Yep. He's a prophet,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Very, very prominent figure in Islam, right? Yeah. So it's not that we don't accept him. We accept Jesus. We respect Jesus just as we do our own prophet.
Yeah.
Right? Now, the thing is, we don't believe Jesus is God. Yeah. And from, I'll be honest.
I'm not going to be offended either, bro.
Right? The amount of knowledge that you probably have on Islam and Christianity, I don't think I have that much knowledge on Christianity.
That's okay, bro. We're just here to preach.
But
and teach.
From what I know, you guys don't believe Jesus to be, or you believe Jesus to be God.
Yeah.
Although there's multiple implications in the Bible and other Gospels that state that Jesus is not God, and Jesus actually claims himself that I am not God, it is my Father who is God, right?
Okay. Which one?
So that's the thing, right? In Islam, we believe in one God, right? We believe in Allah. Allah just means God, okay? We don't have any identity for God. We don't have any, characteristics of God. It's just God. He's just the merciful. He's just the great, right? Yeah. That's what we believe. That's it. Yeah. He controls all, right? Can
I respond? So what would you say then, man? Because Islam came 600... you want to bring it closer, probably, or is that good? Islam came 600 years later, right? What would you say then to the individuals with the history of the Old Testament, the New Testament, that all confirms, says, Jesus Christ is God, we're the believers of that, but now 600 years later, Prophet Muhammad in a cave Hira, he had a revelation from Jibreel who says, oh, no, scratch all the thousands of years of history you have, all the eyewitnesses who saw him, it actually wasn't him. What would you say about that?
So what if I tell you 600 years prior, it's the same God, right? Okay. Like I said, you guys believe Jesus to be God. We believe it's not Jesus, but it's some greater deity that's God, right? What I'm also aware of is the Bible has been altered with a lot, right?
That's what Muslims say. Nowhere in the Quran does it actually say that, though, but Muslims say it's been corrupted.
The Quran has not been touched, okay?
We could debate that, bro.
We can't, though, because people memorize it, right?
They do, but they're memorizing one version, the Hafs version. That's what you're reading. That was standardized in 1924, the Cairo edition. So we're debating a Muslim for an hour before this. There are actually many different qira'ats. So you're reading the Hafs version. If you were to go to Morocco with the Hafs version, they read the Warsh version, you'd be killed.
Right.
Right. So how is there one version then? How would you explain that?
To be honest, man, you're kind of getting me on everything here. I don't know.
No, well, but I'm not here to debate, bro. I'm here to just like teach Jesus. Like, if you have questions and things like this, man.
right.
So the thing with Islam, bro, is like I study it pretty intensively. Were you born Muslim? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah.
I just personally, man, I don't believe Islam's going to save you. I think most Muslims are Muslim because they're born Muslim. There's not a lot of evidence, like the evidence for Jesus far outweighs the Quran, but Muslims with their imams and their sheikhs, they won't be taught this because, let me put it this way, okay, bro? And then I'm going to answer some questions. The Quran says that Jesus Christ is not God, okay? But the Quran also says that the Bible has not been corrupted. In 547, it says, let the people of the book, the gospel, judge by what Allah has revealed. So you believe that Allah revealed the Injil, right?
One more time, sorry.
You believe that the Allah revealed the Injil, the Bible, to us as Christians, right?
Yeah.
So the Quran says that, but nowhere in the Quran does it actually say that that Injil has been corrupted. So what Muslim leaders do, like your sheikhs, is because the Injil, the Bible, completely contradicts the Quran. They say that no, the Injil's been corrupted. But what I'm saying, bro, is we have no evidence of that.
But
Like, what misconceptions do you have about Christ? Because there is a
honestly,
different
I have
perspective.
nothing against Christians, nor do I have any. I would say misconceptions, right? Because I've never really like thought about it, right?
And that's why we're out here, man. The amount of Muslims that I've spoken to, LGBTQ atheists, that were like, well, hold up. I was told all this stuff from a young age, but why don't I actually like look into the evidence? Why don't I read the Gospels? Why don't I see how Jesus said he was, and then try to find the evidence in the Quran where he, like, let me put it this way, bro. We have thousands of years of history that proves Jesus Christ was God. We have the early church. When Jesus died, he revealed himself to 500 eyewitnesses. I know I speak quick. And out of those 500 eyewitnesses, they were all persecuted. They were killed. His apostles were all killed. You know this, right? And Christianity for the first 300 years, they were all persecuted by Rome, but it continued to grow because they believed that they saw the living Christ. Now, let me ask you a question, right? Because maybe they could be lying, right? I have to be a skeptic. Maybe they're all hallucinating. Would you be killed, bro, in the worst way for something you knew wasn't true? Thousands of people continued to die willfully for it. I'm willing to die for it because I'm now born again. And what I'm saying is, once you become born again through accepting Jesus Christ is God, not even just take my word, but through the history, you then become born again, and all these things, like, I'm not sure if you struggle with these things. I was a big fornicator, porn watcher. I was everything on here, man, right? And once I became born again, I've now been on semen retention for 3 years, full celibacy till marriage, all these things because it's Christ cleaning me. But what I'm saying, bro, is that I don't believe Allah can not only save you, but I don't believe Allah cleans you the same way Jesus does. I could be wrong, though. You could convince me.
I don't think I can convince you of anything, right? I don't bring the facts the way that you do, right?
It's okay, man.
But at the end of the day, I feel
You're
like
humble, bro, which I like.
I have my beliefs, you have
Yeah.
your beliefs, right? And I live in a sense, it's not like religions are separate. Honestly, I believe that all our religions,
Yeah.
Jews, Christians, like Muslims, we're all one.
Yeah.
Right? We're all people at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? And whichever God it is,
Yeah.
right, I believe is a fair God. Right?
Okay.
Whichever God it is,
A
if
fair God?
I'm here, if I'm a good person, if
Yeah.
I believe in a God,
Yeah.
right? Why is God gonna judge me because I was born and raised as a Muslim, not
Right.
a Christian, right?
Yeah.
What if God's fair?
Good question,
Right?
yeah.
If God is Jesus, if God is Allah, whoever it is, right?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
God is fair, He will judge me based on how I act in the world,
Yeah.
what I bring to the world,
Yep.
right? If I'm a good person, right?
great-
Inshallah, I go to heaven.
That's a great point.
That's it, right?
But the only problem with that, dude, is that the Bible tells us, because you're right, if we have not been warned of the gospel, like let's say you're a random kid on a deserted island, you've never heard about Jesus, you're going to be judged differently. You never heard about Jesus. But if we've heard the gospel, now the blood's on our hands. That's what the Bible tells us. And the only problem, dude, is that based on logic, both can't be right. So we as Muslims and Christians have to like respectfully figure out who's correct, because in the Quran it says the only unforgivable sin, shirk, is to believe that God is counterparts. Jesus is God. You cannot believe that. Where with us, that is the only thing that saves us. So what I'm out here to do, man, is to decode with Muslims, atheists, whoever, that I have not been convinced yet that he's not God. No Muslim has convinced me otherwise. I know that's what the book
You've done your
says.
research, man.
Well, I know that's what the book says, but just because, like, I can create a book today, bro, and say, a tree is Jesus, that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I do agree with some things in Islam, bro, and I know it's an Abrahamic faith, but the thing, too, bro, is we have to look at the fruits of the two, right? Like, unfortunately, man, the reason we're out here is that both Muslim and Christian, like, I don't know how much you know on the history of, like, Islam, but, like, usually when Christians and Muslims live in the same area for a prolonged period of time, good things don't happen. And that's because, man, the religions are different. So I agree with you, man. Hey, I have my religion, you have yours, but that's not how the fruits of, like, that's not how Islam spread. Islam spread through through death by the sword. I mean, this is how it spread through the Middle East. It's how it hit Africa. It's how it hit Europe. And that's why we needed the Crusades to rebuttal and say, we don't want to be Muslim, stay back to the Middle East, right? Where with Christians, I'm not commanded, unlike Muhammad, just chapter 929 of the Quran, fight those who don't believe in Allah nor pay jizya. I'm not commanded to go out and to hurt you. Like if you're not Christian, I can't fight you, bro, right? All I can do is share the gospel, where with the other way around, and this is why we look at things like, and I know this is controversial, but we look at groups like Hamas, Taliban, ISIS, this is how they are justified, bro. That's the Hamas 1988 covenant was to not stop till Israel's destroyed. They want every Jew dead.
Again, I feel like those are there's extremists,
Yeah.
right? They're extremists. I don't consider those people Muslim.
Okay.
I never would, right?
Okay.
Because like, all the Muslims I know, all the Muslims I live around, we don't live by that kind of
Yeah.
code, like kill you if you don't
Yeah,
believe in
yeah.
Allah,
I'm
right?
glad.
Like, have
But
you,
what if
have
that's in
you
the Quran, though?
personally met someone like that, a Muslim like that, right?
Yeah.
You have.
No, no.
Right,
Here
like-
in the West, no, but I believe that's because they're being watered down.
I'm gonna have to head out in a minute. I'm not gonna.
Okay, no problem. No problem. I believe that's because, man, this is great. I believe that's because the majority of Muslims here in the West are Westernized Muslims. I think if we want to really look at Islam, we go to the Middle East. We go to Saudi Arabia, where there's Sharia law. And that's what confuses me too. A lot of Muslims, they'll say Islam is the religion of truth, but then why are you in a Christian-predominated society? Like, why don't you go back, where your parents from, like Pakistan or something like that? Yeah, why don't you go back there? That's what confuses me, if that's where, like, Islam originated, Saudi Arabia.
Right. I mean, the biggest reason is obviously like the quality of life in Canada is greater, right?
Because
So,
of
like-
what, though? Because of what? Because of our
If you're
Judeo-Christian
gonna say
freedoms.
It's because of Christianity. I would have to disagree, right?
Okay, what do you
Because it's
think
not
it is?
entirely religion that builds a country, right? It's a factor of things. Just like,
you're right.
right? I mean,
Our law, though, is heavily dictated on the Bible, though, right? The Ten Commandments, thou shalt not steal, kill, murder, covet. It wasn't dictated on the Sharia law. And in fact, most Muslim countries, man, you can Google this. Don't take anything of what I'm saying. Google all this. The majority of Muslim countries with Sharia law are miserable. They hate it. They're the most unhappy countries in the world. And that's why millions of them, they flee, bro. They're refugees and they come here for a better life. And I just find, as a Christian, I find it very, like, hypocritical and almost dangerous that, like, Muslims will come to our countries but then say, no, Sharia law is better. You need to, Islam is the way. How am I supposed to believe that if you fled from your country due to our Judeo-Christian values?
right.
That's just like my thought.
No, I get it, man. Honestly, like, it's kind of tough to come up with a
Yeah,
response
yeah.
for everything
Well,
you
you're
say, right?
open,
'Cause
man.
you bring
I-
up some like really good points, right? But honestly, I have to like wrap
Dude,
up.
yeah,
here.
you're smart. Is there before you leave? Is there any last question I can help you with Jesus, bro? Because I will pray for you, and I just want you to be open. I know you were born into a Muslim family, but just potentially
open to
acknowledge,
it, right?
just be open to it. Potentially acknowledge that Jesus, if you are real, reveal yourself to me in a dream, in a vision, and just be open.
I mean, again, I respect all my Christians, right? Like, that's all I have to say, man. Like, I don't have anything against
I'm
Christians.
glad, bro. You seem like a kind guy.
But at the end of the day, right, I have my beliefs, you have your beliefs, right? And that's like,
But if your belief is correct, I want you to convince me, because then based on that, I'm going to hell, bro. That's not very loving of you if your belief is correct and you're just saying,
you're too
no,
good.
no. But even if it's not me, like I feel if I have the cure to cancer, hypothetically, or you do, should we not be going out of our way to every person to be like, hey, this is the way.
Of course.
That's the way. That's why I'm
It's
out
like
here, bro.
I'm someone that know the cure exists, but I know nothing about it.
So
You know
then,
what I mean? Like,
you can come chat, bro. What I would say then, dude, is that in your own time, search up more of that cure. Because if you genuinely do have the cure, and again, dude, I'm open to being disproved. I'm not saying this is my only thing. You can't change my mind. That's why we're out here, right? But if you potentially do have that cure, then really study it, man.
of course, man.
And I believe through both of us, man, God will reveal the truth to us eventually. So, dude, you're fantastic, man. What's your name?
Rafi.
Rafe. It's great to chat to you. David.
David?
Yeah.
Nice to meet
Yeah.
you.
Cheers, man. Have a good
great
day. Yeah. See ya. What's up, brother? You have a question?